Am I wrong for taking my ring back from my fiancée and calling off the wedding after learning a crucial truth about her? This is going to be a very long story. I apologize in advance for that. I just don't have anyone to share and ask for advice. I still can't believe everything happened so fast. Me, a 27-year-old man, and my ex-fiancée Julie, also 27, have been dating for 5 years now. We were pretty serious about our relationship up until now, and I'm questioning my choice in women. I grew up in a big family. My parents have 5 kids. My 2 older sisters, me and my twin sister, and my younger brother. The eldest of us, Aliana, who is 32, was set to marry one of our parents' friend's son, Theo, who is 36. Aliana was the most intelligent among all of us. She went to a prestigious college. It was a pretty big deal since we are from a second world-class country. She was supposed to marry Theo 10 years ago in an arranged marriage, which is common in our culture. She didn't pick him, our parents did. She didn't get a choice in the matter, but right on the wedding day she ran away. We had no clue where she went to. I assume she left early in the morning. The wedding was supposed to happen during the afternoon. My second eldest sister Eleanor, who is 29 now but was 19 at the time, was helping with everything around the preparation. My parents didn't want to stress Aliana that day much, so most of the work shifted to Eleanor. Our parents didn't trust me because I was 17, and the others because they were young. Eleanor was quite busy as the guests started to arrive. Soon we realized Aliana was nowhere to be found. We called Theo's parents, who hurriedly came over to the resort. We rented a resort for the whole day. It was quite expensive since the eldest of both families were getting married. They were panicking because guests started to arrive and they would lose respect if the marriage didn't happen as planned. Suddenly they decided that Eleanor would replace Aliana as the bride. Eleanor at first tried to reason with them, telling them how it doesn't work like that. But Theo's family was having none of it. It was mainly their idea. My parents chipped in when our grandparents got involved. No one could take the humiliation of a failed marriage. Theo was silent during the whole situation. He was a spineless loser. That's what I first thought. But looking back, he was just as shocked as everyone around back then. He left the room and some of the men in the family went after him so he wouldn't do anything stupid. Eleanor was forced to get ready. She couldn't run away as there were multiple women keeping an eye on her. She was crying at first but got scolded by our mother and grandmother for that. They got married and my sister was supposed to enroll in a college that year. She was only 19 back then. I was 17, so was my twin, and the youngest of the family was only 12. Theo's parents didn't let Eleanor enroll in a college, which left her pretty devastated. They feared that if Eleanor had a chance to better herself, she would become independent, and then she would run away. She could only visit our house once a month. Our parents were sympathetic, but they told her to suck it up as she wasn't their responsibility after her marriage. Their words. Because of that, she stopped talking about her problems to them. She would talk to me about her problems as all she wanted was mental support. Theo and Eleanor's marriage wasn't great either. She didn't graphically explain their lives, but with the pieces of information I could tell he was just a cold-hearted bastard. I am not afraid to call him out even if I see him now. He never valued Eleanor as his wife since she wasn't supposed to be his wife in the first place. He dismissed her. He makes a lot of money. He is an engineer, and he took care of his family as well as his younger sister. 3 months after their wedding, my sister came to our parents' house with a bruised arm. We learned that Theo sometimes used force on her to shut her up, like tightly grabbing her wrist or arms. That's what my sister mentioned. I stupidly confronted him in person that day, which led to a huge argument. I was grounded for meddling in my sister's marriage, and my sister's monthly visits turned into one visit every 4 months. Eleanor showed up 6 months later, finally with an obvious baby bump. Eleanor and I talked very rarely after that. She wouldn't tell me anything as she was afraid that I would confront Theo. She couldn't divorce him as my parents wouldn't take her in, and the society we are in looks down at divorced women. So she tried working things out with him. Around 3 years ago, Theo left our current city with Eleanor and their 2 sons. Eleanor was 6 months pregnant with my niece at that time. They shifted to the capital of our country, which was 10 hours away from our current city. After moving there, they went into extreme low contact with my family. I met Julie, Theo's younger sister, because of my twin. They are inseparable best friends. Me and my twin didn't have anything in common, so I hung out with her very little and didn't know most of her friends. My twin, Lily, set me up on a blind date with Julie. We clicked and have been dating since that blind date. I thought I met the one. Clearly I was wrong. I proposed to Julie in May. I was saving up for the marriage. I didn't want a big ceremony. Just a small ceremony with a few relatives and friends. It'll be less than 60 people. My eldest sister, Aliana, suddenly made contact with us after almost 10 years, which was shocking. She introduced us to her kids and husband. She is married to a lawyer and has 2 girls under 5. I wasn't thrilled to meet her. We went through humiliation due to her sudden cold feet. Aliana tried to reason with me when I made it clear I'm not thrilled to see her again. I also noticed Aliana was very close to Lily and Julie. I told Julie I am not comfortable with her suddenly being close to my sister. I said it's better if we put some boundaries. She agreed, but she didn't agree for a long time. My parents threw us a welcome dinner for Aliana and my engagement news last week. We were getting tipsy by the end of the party. I didn't drink because I needed to drive back to my apartment and I had to drop off Julie and her parents at their house as well. We don't live together, you know. At one point during dinner, Aliana thanked Julie for helping her run away back then. She said if she hadn't listened to her, she might have never met the love of her life, her husband. Julie laughed like crazy, saying she did that for her own benefit as well. They were tipsy, maybe even drunk, so they kept talking. Julie started explaining how she helped Aliana figure everything out. Her mom tried to stop her, but she just kept rambling. At one point she suddenly said, "I thought if Aliana ran away you guys would just deal with it. But you guys made Eleanor marry Theo. Things didn't go as I planned." That caught my attention greatly, so I asked her mother to interrupt her, and she got defensive. I hurriedly took Julie home. I asked Julie a few days later about it and she kept avoiding the topic, saying she was drunk and didn't think before speaking. I gave her an ultimatum: if she didn't tell me about it I would break off the engagement. She panicked and came over to my apartment to talk. So basically, she wanted her best friend to marry her brother. She knew Aliana wasn't into Theo at all, but Aliana didn't have the guts to say no to their wedding. At one point, Aliana accepted her fate, but Julie encouraged her to find her true love instead. Julie said she didn't think my parents would drag Eleanor into this mess. She was dumb and stupid. She was 17, just like me. I was angry but kept my composure. Then she dropped the bombshell on me. Julie tried to break Eleanor and Theo up because she wanted Lily as her sister-in-law. Theo is a fairly attractive guy and had a lot of admirers during his student life. Even after their marriage, she continued to try to split them up. Julie went as far as sending his admirers Eleanor's phone number and contact information. Eleanor would get harassed daily because of those people. My sister stopped using social media long ago. Later, Theo also took her phone away. We thought it was because of his toxic nature, but no, he was doing it because he didn't want anyone to harass his pregnant wife. Julie didn't stop there. She began to talk about Theo's ex-girlfriends and flings to Eleanor. Eleanor would get upset and bring those girls up during arguments, and then Theo would grip her arms or wrists tightly to the point it would leave red bruises. It went on for a few years. Then Theo found out who was behind this whole scheme. He was upset and angry. This is why Theo took Eleanor and their kids and went low contact with us. Theo wanted to fix things between them after they had their first baby, but couldn't since Eleanor would bring up his exes or Aliana. Julie wanted to put a wedge between them. When Theo found out, he went no contact with his side of the family and low contact with us. Worst of all, Lily was part of this. I couldn't bear to listen to how she tried to mess up 2 people's lives. I yanked the ring off her finger and took away my apartment keys before kicking her out. I can't possibly marry this girl, never in my wildest dreams. I called up Lily, thinking she was a victim of Julie's manipulation. To my surprise, she wasn't. She also liked Theo. She said she would try to get touchy with him during the times Eleanor would visit us. Theo would ignore her or brush her off. She shamelessly admitted that she tried to offer herself to him, but Theo flat out said Eleanor was better looking than her, plus he had the dignity not to cheat on his wife. After that incident, Theo would stick with Eleanor all the time when they visited us. They don't visit our parents' house anymore, and now I know why. I don't blame them, honestly. I called Aliana a few minutes ago to ask her about her whereabouts. She sounded very happy and invited me to come over someday and meet them. I guess the news didn't reach her yet. By the night, everyone was calling me. Apparently, word got out that I took Julie's ring. Julie admitted her mistakes and everyone is saying I should forgive her because she was young and dumb. My problem is, I get the helping Aliana run away part, but putting Eleanor into mental stress for 7 years? She was an adult at that time. I tried to reason with everyone, but they are saying I shouldn't meddle in my sister's marriage. So, am I wrong for breaking off my engagement after learning what she did to my sister and brother-in-law? Drop your thoughts in the comments.